How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So like any other week, if you want a chance or you want any questions being answered, make sure you drop a comment down below and I'll try to get to that question in next week's video. If you've asked a question a couple weeks ago or in previous videos and I haven't answered it yet, make sure you drop a comment down below. I have been missing some questions that I've found and I'm trying to catch up on all of them. So once again, if you just asked a question, I haven't answered it yet, just drop it again in the comment section and I will try to get to it as soon as possible. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with the first question of the week. And it is, how do I feel the ZF9 versus the Honda's 1080? How do they compare to each other? So the ZF9, I know on the Acura side, a lot of people don't really like it. I get a lot of negative feedback from them. Personally, on the Honda side, they are fairly reliable. I've only replaced, I believe, one or two off the top of my head. I can't remember, but goes to show you that, they're really a non-factor as far as catastrophic failure. Now, do they drive weird and could they cause some drivability issues at times? Absolutely. Like anything else, it could have some issues here and there. Like I said, I've replaced one or two and we don't see them failing that often throughout the shop. As long as you maintain your fluids, it should treat you well. Now, Honda's 1080, surprisingly, I've actually replaced more of those, but they seem to be trending a lot more on a lot more vehicles now. So a lot of people have pushed these transmissions in the aftermarket world, and they seem to hold up to a lot of abuse, which goes to show you how durable they can be. Now, like anything else, the 9-speed, the 10-speed, the 6-speed, there is going to be catastrophic failures here and there. But compared to transmissions from back in the day when I started, all of them are a lot better than they used to be. Personally, I do have a vehicle with the 9-speed and the 10-speed, and I do prefer the 10-speed on my TLX versus the 9-speed on my Pilot, although they both do drive just fine. If I had to pick one or the other, obviously I'm going to go with the Honda transmission over the ZF9. And either way, I think you're in good hands personally, but the 1080, I think personally, 5, 6, 7 years, 10 years down the road, will probably still be kicking around a lot more than the Honda ZF9 transmissions. So hopefully that answers the question for you. So the next question is about doing ARP head studs on Honda's 1.5T. Obviously, if you're following this channel for a while, you know that the 1.5Ts are pretty problematic, especially with head gasket failures, specifically on the Accord more than the CRVs and the Civics. Although I've done head gaskets on all three of them, majority being the Accords once again. So the question is, can you go ahead and try to be proactive in trying to, not have this issue happen by installing ARP head studs on your engine on a car with warranty? So absolutely you can, and this will most likely help you kick that issue down the road a lot longer than it would without having the head studs, along with other preventative measures, as I mentioned in other videos. Now, the issue is, if something happens with the engine, it doesn't even have to be the head gasket, but let's say you have some sort of, a camshaft issue where it's pitted, or, whatever the case may be, your time exchange stretches because you didn't change your oil. Whatever the case may be, the minute they see somebody's been in there and then the minute they see that has aftermarket head studs, your warranty will be absolutely voided at that time. So yes, you will solve one issue, but you could be causing another issue indirectly. So obviously, if these are installed by a professional person, chances are that you're not going to have an issue, although you always run the risk of having your warranty voided for something completely unrelated, for that, for you being proactive on something else. And even if you're installing aftermarket modifications for high performance purposes, this will still be an issue as well. Obviously you're trying to do the right thing here. And personally, if I own one of these vehicles, I would absolutely do that, and on my own personal vehicle. And anybody who asks me to do it, I will do it for them. But just know that if you take your vehicle elsewhere, they could absolutely use that as an excuse to to put a fault on another failure, just because that's kind of how the cookie crumbles. But even if it's not directly related, so in theory, if you replace the head studs, you're supposed to remove the head completely. Now, let's say you had a tensioner failure, they can use that as an argument to say that, well, the tensioner possibly was installed incorrectly, or X, Y, and Z, whatever the case may be. But just an example. Once again, I would personally do it. But yes, you do run the risk of you going to your dealer, and them denying your issue just because you have touched your engine, and performed some aftermarket modifications on it. So hopefully that answers the question for you. All right, so the next question is 200,000 mile vehicle, should you invest in a timing belt with an oil pump replacement? And that really depends on your situation and the condition of the vehicle. Now, if the vehicle is up to date with maintenance and that's really the only thing that's needed, then investing a couple $1,000s may be beneficial to you. Obviously, if the vehicle needs a ton of maintenance, then this might be the time to consider purchasing another vehicle. And I probably tell 2 to 3 people a week that it's probably time to move on from their vehicle to another vehicle, just because the maintenance is to a point where it's just so much that, if you went outside and the car was totaled for whatever reason, you would never get your money back on that investment. Now, obviously, that is a case-by-case situation and a decision you have to make on your own. Now, if you're selling the vehicle potentially in the future and you're kind of in limbo, don't know what to do, then I would say probably hold off on it. And of course, let the next person know that your time belt is due. Obviously, that's the right thing to do. Most people probably won't say that because obviously the other person, the buyer, is going to use that as a bargaining tool for leverage. So once again, it also depends on if you could afford a new vehicle. Obviously, you have to see if maintaining your vehicle is more cost efficient to you versus going out and buying a new vehicle with these high interest rates. So really depends on your situation. Obviously, it's never a bad idea to do maintenance. Although if you're having other issues with the car at that mileage and needs a ton of maintenance, it's something you want to consider. And again, might be the key factor in you keeping that car or getting into something new. So hopefully that answers the question for you. So the next question is, this person travels for work a lot, also uses the car for personal reasons with their family or whatever the case may be. And what service and parts should they use? And I'm going to recommend always using the dealer manufacturer, whether it's Honda, Toyota, Nissan, Ford, GM, whatever the case may be, because chances are if you're traveling across different states, and you have an issue, you're going to be able to source one of those dealers and take your vehicle in for maintenance or parts, whatever you may need if you're doing it by yourself. And if you have a warranty type of issue, obviously you're going to be able to source, again, one of those places fairly easily. Now, in my area, we have a lot of Napas and AutoZones, and a couple different parts stores, but those are a couple, the bigger ones. We have Advance, STS, I believe they might have went out of business, but whatever the case may be. So that's what we have here. We don't really have like O'Reilly's or anything like that. So that's something you want to consider. So if there's a common state that you continuously travel to for work or for pleasure, whatever case may be, you want to see if you use those parts or that service department or whatever the case is, that you're able to get some work done by them. If you had a job repaired here and maybe you've run into a warranty issue and they have to warranty something for you. So if you buy a part here at AutoZone and you go to a state where they don't have an AutoZone, then obviously you're going to have to rebuy that part and then work out the situation with returning that other part to the original place you purchased it from and work on getting your money back for that part. So it just really depends. Obviously, do your research. If you stay local, then chances are if your car breaks locally, you can get it towed there and they can have it warranted, or you can get a new part, at that point from that same place. So hopefully that answers the question for you. All right, so last but not least, question of the week. And once again, if we want a chance of one of your questions being answered, make sure you do drop a comment down below. So the question is, what are the pros and the cons of being an automotive technician? So obviously, when it's busy and you're a flat rate technician like me, you could make a lot of money. Now, when it's slow, like it's been the last couple of months, and really after the situation, it's been a slower than situation. So I'll leave it at that because the algo really doesn't like you mentioning those words. So yeah, when it's slower, obviously it's frustrating because a lot of times we spend time just not doing much or not being as productive as we all know that we can be. Now, I do like the fact that I go into work and don't know what's going to happen 9 out of 10 times. It's not a cookie cutter job, and every day is a little bit different from the previous day and the next day and so forth. So I do like that. So obviously we all work to make money, so that is the key goal at the end of the day. But you have to be fair and humble, and everyone could learn from each other. So once again, fair and humble. And a lot of times people, have a bad taste of mechanics, but I can't tell you how many times a week I tell people that it is time to move on to a new vehicle, just because it's just simply not a cost effective or a smart financial decision to keep investing into that vehicle. So obviously a lot of people can't do that, and they do the bare minimum, which is fine. And people ask me all the time, well, what's important, what's not important, what can wait? And again, that really depends on the situation, but usually safety issues are priority. So it is rewarding that sometimes you get to figure issues for people out, and people come in distressed, and you know you get to help them out, and they leave happy. Once in a while, you get people that no matter what you do, you can't make them happy, but you know, it is what it is. But typically speaking, you know, I have a good relationship with most of my customers, and, you know, most of them do leave happy, which is rewarding for me at least. So once again, the pay could be good. It could be bad. Depends on the season. You know, it's just, you never know what's going to happen this week, the following week, and so forth. But if you're, you know, possibly thinking of going into this industry, it is frustrating at times. It's changing every day. You know, we got a huge EV push coming through, so that's going to be a learning curve for everybody on the Honda and Acura side. Obviously, we don't have anything EV at this time, so that's going to be something new for us to learn. And not that I'm for EV or anything like that, but I am curious and interested in learning something new, and I think of every day as a learning opportunity to kind of just keep you know, all this you know, new information, just keep you know, absorbing it as much as possible. And once again, every day you learn something new. So hopefully that answers the question for you, and I'll catch everyone on the next one.